Now,
After all these things,
oh, but now look at this. Yeah, can you tell me this? I had a finance minister of Ghana and America and our war about IMF, the World Bank, IMF for almost spring event to be a Debiano every year. Biano a year world leaders, basically those in charge of economies. Omoba, and I'm also be connecting nations to other nations, how to open up their countries through economic dialogue. And people also come to assess. In fact, the IMF, the World Bank, they come and they have this chit chat and all that. Some of them come for assessment. And what is coming from a year IMF meetings where across Washington DC, and they say World Bank applauds Ghana's turnaround, hails finance minister's leadership. World Bank, omni Ghana ye jumache, and World Bank no my grants, sometimes on my loans, different finance ministers are omudi Ghana. So in fact, the World Bank dealt with Kenofriata for 8 years. So they know the damage at Kenofriata. In fact, so many mukrampa when COVID-19 hit, the World Bank, the amount of money they gave to Kenofriata and MPP in Kwasiafono to help heal Ghana, take Ghana out of that COVID-19 shock. Your economy is suffer, They saw how Kenofriata and MPP, Bawumiamo, almost messes up. They saw the opportunities at Ghana were out of greed into MPP running country down into the ditch. A year and almost 4 months, and NDC about power. Atoforsen has been the finance minister, and when they look at the numbers, almost Ghana is sick as some baby ana a chere, baby ana a jina, send ye sick as some say ya a jigu ya MPP Akroma. Bawomiana o chatro ekufuado eka say when a better leader comes, the country will get back on its feet. And be a Ghana in a year, 4 months, Atoforsen through his leadership as the finance minister. Atoforsen ebedi finance minister, and John Mahama appointed Atoforsen. Ya antisa Atoforsen and in Namkacha Ghana for the economy, and economic situation will be out. Atoforsen never bragged about the credentials, the onim our economy. Atoforsen never did that. Before John Mahama appointed Atoforsen as the finance minister, a few people, even though believed to say he could do the job, now we felt to say the damage and MPP created to it was going to be difficult for a young man like Atoforsen to take Ghana out of that ditch. And then Menoka say, upon all that is happening in this world, remember, Ukraine, Russia war, and the whole Kosovo, Iran, America, Israel war, Kosovo, still the dollar is at 11. I was out here say, through the leadership Atoforsen Diaba Finance Ministry, and the way prudently he's managing Ghana's finances, Abrofono are shocked. Because typically, countries, hardly do countries get somebody who is good with finances, or who is good at finances, and also who is a very good politician. And you see, there's something in Atoforsen, majority of Ghana for arrêsted and share. You can get a fine president, but majority now, you wouldn't say, in our history, you're to president to be or you're good at this, but on you're good at this. You're to leader be and you're to finance minister be or you're good at this, or you're good at this. But there's one unique thing about Atoforsen. Or you're a good politician and also a good economist. And in a Atoforsen, the leadership when it comes to Ghana, your finances now, a shocking a lot of people. No? So about politics as a politician, is an exceptional politician. And you can talk about the time now or the leader of the NPP, NDC in opposition. We saw what he brought on board. How he was able to change the leadership, the style of the NDC in opposition. In fact, through the hard worker, Haruna Idris Atoforsen ebe pekifri so many people thought to say, na Atoforsen end to me and live up to expectation. Because he's not the type who is always talking about his credentials. He's not the type of baby or bragging about the onim. In the time a minority leader cry in opposition, people were still not convinced to say, but you saw how he was able to transform the leadership of the NDC in opposition. And I would like to give credit to Haruna Idrisu and Muntakam, the job they did for Atoforsen to continue. But you see, that part of Atoforsen as a politician as a politician who can reach out, as a politician who has the leadership qualities, as a politician who can lead a group of people who are in despair. Let me tell you, when the NDC were in opposition, they didn't have the numbers, the leadership, the NPP, the NDC as a political party. Every single person was basically, everybody called in. There was this kind of hope that people were looking for. Atofos must step in. With the experience I was free Haruna Idris, you could see, say, the face of the NDC in opposition changed in parliament. Now that is quality when it comes to govern, when it comes to politics. And when you take this guy, now that he's a political ship, he's an exceptional leader. And one unique thing about him, and they say, you don't hear him talk a lot, but his whole thing is about, let me deliver. And when I deliver, the people will understand why I should be kept where I am or why I should be given the nod. Today, he has been given the finance ministry. John Mahama, from roads to land to all sort of works. About 4 ministries now are very difficult for John Mahama to pick people to lead. Because like John Mahama, a mistake. And a baby to say, health. Or you the wrong person and can have been begu. Or your mistake, and a baby to say land. Because we're faced with crazy galamsey menace. And hardly do you hear people talk about galamsey. Sa Akroma and Kofo edikoye galamsey. They hope you, even though a man for the whole galamsey, we are trying to fight it. You could see, say, that free range galamsey, that conversation is not there because the land minister is delivering. Now you come to a ministry like finance, which is not an easy ministry. In fact, all the ministers are working, but somebody would say we needed somebody who was all over the place, speaking and making noise and telling people, I went to school here, because school was minimum way. But Atoforsen humbly took that position. And in fact, to be very honest with you, from the beginning, all of us were scared. We thought to say, damage about Omiaye, damage Euphoria Tayano, this guy, Obet Tribe Bedding. But in just a year and 4 months, the kind of job at Atofos na yeno, let us be honest. You can say, be a versatile politician. Atofos is a versatile politician. Atofos na chre, say, man the political job so nya, on disappointed. Man the leadership job on disappointed. Wasache say, the economy shenin sa on disappointed. And these are the kind of people we need. I'm not going to talk for anybody, but so we are Jumana. And there's one thing I've noticed about Atofosin. He wants to work for people to see, for people to speak on it. Into a year, Jumakrana or achieve and also or check successor. He does not speak about it because the Jumana or the impact will reflect in the lives of the people. The impact as a finance minister will reflect in the life of a businessman. The impact of a finance minister, it will reflect in the lives of Ghana, the trade unions. Juma Obeyano, the reflection will be on the scoreboard, and you will see the dollar will be stable. You will see, say, all the things we need to do as a nation moving forward. No man for 8 years, there you will be there, and everywhere you go in Ghana, it's the big push. It is because we have people managing our finances well. So the roads minister can get access to funds for our roads to be built. Now, if you're able to connect all the roads, it means you are connecting the nation. You are basically putting blood in every single place in the country. That means the country's heart is going to start beating again, because majority of our farmers, any idea, they need better roads to bring all this food back into the system for us to eat some and then export some. Me as a journalist, I'm going to be very honest with you. He's a versatile politician. And over Africa, hardly do you get a versatile politician. That is what we have in John Mahama. John Mahama is a versatile politician. John Mahama here Juma on Kasa, but you feel it. You see the changes. You see how their oil impacted lives positively. And this is what we always want from our politicians. So this guy is working, whether you like it or not. Right now, I can tell you, he's one of the finest politicians at Ghana. He's presentable as a leader. He's humble as an individual. And when it comes to Obi Awetime leading the confidence about Krumua, it is not easy to bring confidence back into a country. Right now, businessmen, they have confidence. Multi-million-dollar companies have confidence. This guy has been able to bring that confidence that Bawumia killed. This guy has been able to bring Ghana back to the world market where, and IMF, World Bank, they see Ghana and they sit at the table with Ghana and discuss. It's not about loans. It's about either grants or way forward for Ghana to come out of our mess. And that is what we are talking about. This is not a finance minister who is walking around with loan portfolio. This guy is walking around with trying to create opportunities, trying to make sure he conserves a lot. He's basically managing this country in a way we could see, say, we are not wasting money. And then as I maybe I also say, nipa now we share politician. These are the things you analyze, and we are all excited in Ghana because the economy is doing well. Because and then you get share, and then we can trust the banks again. And we sit in Ghana, we know say fuel it will not reach a level be a message here. So upon all the things happening around the world, we know say we are stable, and that is the most important thing. If we are stable, it means we can improve. And today we have gone beyond stable. We are improving. Can't see this young man. So let us support him. Let us support. In the future, we will have a lot to say about leadership. In the future, we will have a lot to say about governance, about people who we can understand, we can support, we can push. People we can believe, say, at least you better make your confidence because of their leadership qualities. I'm not going to talk much, but I'm very excited to see this. And I'm going to tell him, say, whatever he's doing, he's getting it right. Whatever he's doing, whatever he's putting in, he should not deviate from what he's doing. He should still keep his humble personality. He should still be open for more ideas. He should be resolute when it comes to decision making. So be keep the money and tell them they have to use the money in the right way. The difference between Atufos and any other finance ministers is that Atufos just doesn't give you money. You need to prove to Atufos sikana here. In the past, we have seen finance ministers, okay, so here's cannot the amount. No, everybody has to get access to money, but there should be a reason. You should prove beyond reasonable doubt that sikana ya de maono taxpayers money into sikana ojino o de koya de man faso abaso because o de kona o say na me finance minister me na menya asem. So he is bringing some kind of decorum, decency, and some kind of what we call spending in the right way. You know, that is what that we needed. We could not pick our priorities right in the past. But now we can sit and say, this is good, this is okay, this is right, this is immediate, this is the long term, this is the short term, and that is what this man brings to the table. Atufos has really worked well. He's also acting as a defense minister, not a joke. He is working and acting as a defense minister at the same time as the finance minister. Don't joke with such people. Or you're versatile. Very, very important. Now, something is happening at Ghana ports. Before I go to Ghana ports, understand, it is still Pioto. Pioto never bought it. Still Pioto. It is Pioto. You people should not forget Aikale and Jessica. Pioto. What kind of French man? Pantalon. It's a French one. Time new one come to the French which pantalon. But all they told me because of the F no, also do re mi fa so no. F na no silent. Sometimes no, it rings. You can say someone share music. You can say let be ring ya. It me call slow and then a bridge words. It's pantalon. Because it do F no. Do re mi fa so fa. Into pantalon. Pantalon. But we understand now. F no breaky the fano the fasono into do you say panlon into we to better or padlock and your padlock and no into Pioto the French no panlon guy nagasana me versatile this out of force AI assistant system biaba eboa custom officers ema omutumi edi omudwuma no pepepe ewo kwan peso a aban etuminya enough revenue. Now, Guta, any other groups are omuyejuma port no, raise the issues about this system. In fact, uti omwa, omo person mo kire say, this publican AI di aba ye port no, omo di omo hu ni say emwa. if we say a machine no ana AI system na ye de abeka softwares no ho na edi dwuma no quotations any prices be also charge containers no sometimes no AI publican AI system no a charge broso and omuhu ni say sometimes no a bi argument my and say publican AI we no den customs for ejuma efri omunsem. Now but when you look at the system very well eno na Anthony Kwesi Sapon ono na GRA commissioner and wakasa or say publican AI system we are omde abaye portal eboa ama enkofo akle omde containers any goods from the port no 2 weeks ba omde buy no etimi ama Ghana enya 1.2 billion cedis 2 weeks. Now this is a new system yede ba abeboa custom officers emo ma yeden emo omudwumadie na omudi no yeden ACP. Now remember the human factor in every organization no, especially in our part of the world no, nipa factor na ewom no eno na sebio a breedy corruption. Now the introduction of this publican AI is basically as a consulting avenue for the custom officials. So who need to say custom for container be a bar or say nipa and sometimes omubium omuhwehwem omuya tabulation must a container where be ya calculation 1 2 3 4 5, but the AI machine no technically what it does and say it will for base price in Africa into a say be a 40-footer container oko Togo oko Burkina oko Guinea oko Kenya, so will be the 40-footer container bar send what's the base price here. Oh, 40-footer container there, and a 40-foot container there. You need maybe 10,000 Ghana and a base. Now, side base in say, and then the final amount you have to pay to take the container out of the port. But at least something has been established. Say a 40-foot container and quadia. At least the base price, it starts from 10,000 Ghana cedis. That is what this AI machine is helping, assisting the custom officials to do. Now, when it comes to the content of containers, respective containers, sometimes the machine will need the assistance of humans to do physical checks because the AI system cannot go and open containers and say, oh, on a normal day, 40-foot container, 200 tons of rice. Now, if the container comes there, 190 tons, the womb, and a broad 13 shema. Maybe the AI system cannot detect that. It will need the assistance of physical custom officers to open the container and say, oh, say AI and charge a container with 20,000. You go inside, they are supposed to charge it 18,000 because maybe the physical human being able to reach, the system cannot reach. That is the only thing that is happening here. Now, in 2 weeks, if a system has been put at the port, now you're to 1.2 billion. It means to say, if even the system is not perfect, when we do better reforms and restructure it well, we will be making more than 1.2 billion cedis in 2 weeks. Meaning, it is all about improving the services, improving the work now. Republic AI no publican AI. So it is too early for us to rubbish it. The reason why I have a problem with some of these people, any good money I didn't say. When we introduce these kind of reforms, this kind of technology to help custom officers to work well and faster now, the people who try to fight these kind of things, most of the time, I am not benefited from corrupt custom officials. When people start to fight technology, that means the human factor they feel that human factor is being taken out or it's being limited. Now there's nowhere Obibetumaka say publican AI is going to totally take away custom officials' job. No. But what it is doing is that first na the containers ba sorry no makojina port no mutate your bribe that machine you cannot pay bribe to it. That part of that human factor part na the bribe in fact say nipa yebe me say 10 million Ghana cedis a day. Now it is going to drop to 2 million Ghana cedis a day, which is better than nothing. Now as time goes on, this AI system we will start to reform it well. We will get to, in fact, work on it for it to adapt to the system well. Now, if in 2 weeks, a country is able to make 1.2 billion. All because AI system was introduced to support humans at the portal. Then it means that if we basically give it chance, it means that when there's a good collaboration between the AI system and human now, we are going to make more than what we have been able to make in 2 weeks. Now, the GRA boss, the GRA commissioner today, went out to inspect this system. So what exporters will say importers now, and now what guta for now. And I'm a press conference. In fact, Matisse say, I'm strike because of this. In fact, exporters and importers, they have a name. But Matisse say, shippers authority for Asia, and say, strike no, postponing, which is fine. But you see, when you listen to press and in some you could see clearly say, some people who import are not comfortable with this kind of system. Ebe weed out the inconsistencies and the corruption at our portal. Sikana there are some people who are not comfortable with that. Let's go listen to our press conference. This is a year the Guta press conference itia say pene a year the publican AI system so.
So the secretariat is referenced by the AI Publican Committee. There is no published appeals protocol, no data submission interface, no defined resolution timelines. As a result, traders and agents are compelled to rely on physical visits. You need to go there. You need to go and see somebody. If no one is there, you go and sit there the whole day and come back. Informal engagement is what is now we are being forced to do. And then ad hoc escalation channels. In fact, somebody from Paga will send a document to me. If I show you my phone, almost every day people are sending these issues. Then you forward it to CTSB. So if this gentleman is busy, it will be there till the next day, the next week. There is no formal policy position on valuation methodology of used goods. No treatment of non-standard items. And then adjustment factors for conditions at age or origin is also a fiasco. Now, transparencies, inordinate valuations are altered in duty payments. Cargo remains uncleared. Financial exposure continues to accumulate daily. So the person cannot pay duty, but is forced to be crying over the mortgage that is going to come. The same port, which is Ghana port, was also calculating rent.
So you see, that's where our problem is. Guta and some people at the port, this system I won't see here, taking advantage of the system. They like it. Obviously, when you want to introduce a new system, our porter, remember, over Ghana revenue generation, your port, and you get a lot of money from. Now, introducing such a system, you need to understand. Say there's going to be some difficulties. That does not mean say as time goes on, some difficulties they will not be solved. No. Now, what they are doing is they are even rubbishing the thing. They are rubbishing the system or the new idea, even before it starts to work. That's not how it works. We cannot reject everything because Mwana Moka. Munyo bedru porter ni ya ding custom officials for delay slow obi. Now we are going to have a system even though from the beginning it might not be as consistent as you think or say, but as time goes on, reforms will be done, things will be worked on, and this thing will run smoothly. So why should you have a problem when a system has been introduced? System you can do 1 month and quickly Guta force strike. Me, I feel say Guta for last week, said the leadership of Guta, importers. The leadership of Guta. Open Kofua Obu Ghana for power your porter. The leadership of Guta. They have had their way for a very long time. Dupe system. Let me tell you. There's some Guta leadership here. Companies now port, they pay less than 30% of how much the amount they have to pay at the port. I'm telling you. And you see, such an advanced system is being rolled out. Suddenly, they are so agitated, they are so angry. Suddenly, They see problems with this system than anything else. Go and see the amount of money you lose our ports in Ghana. You can see, say, the leadership, they are trying everything possible to block all these loopholes. Majority of these people calling themselves importers are free Ghana. I'm not saying say all importers are stealing from the country. But the fact of the case is that majority of these importers, they don't pay the right amount. Now, because they cannot convince the machine, because they cannot steal from the machine, because they cannot tell the machine, say, oh, also ye koni, hey, minimum, my friend is saying, because they cannot say, hey, now me why the unya bande buy, hey, and yeah, because they cannot relate to the machine as relatives. Because they cannot call the machine on phone at night and say, oh, as me see, where the I actually mommy, never be a year and Camry be, oh, where the wawinim, so the unia to anime, where the union and school. They cannot do that with the publican system, no. So they are trying to rubbish it before Crampo say ebe out and benefit Ghanaians. Now, the GRA boss paid a visit to where the system Sibi are putting it together. Let's go watch the GRA boss, they visit to the port. Mr. S, Mr. P, I need the video. The GRA boss paying a visit. Mr. S, I don't have it. I have it. Thank you very much, team. Thank you.
For publican, it took averagely about 2 hours for our officers to be able to scan through a load of information to arrive at a decision. What publican is doing is to the same information, analyze it in 5 minutes and generate a report for the officer and allow the officer to go through it and make the right decision. Publican will help the officers to accurately determine the country of origin, because that's a key factor in the determination of the taxes. Second is a classification. Every product manufactured and traveling across the world has a unique code. And when you miss that unique code, you will not pay the right taxes. And finally, how much is an item paid for which the taxes ought to be collected? Publican does not make a decision. Publican facilitates and assists the officer to arrive at a decision. 2 weeks before the introduction of publican, we were generating a revenue of about 2.4 billion Ghana cedis. 2 weeks after the introduction of publican, we are generating 3.6 billion Ghana cedis. That means that within 2 weeks alone, publican is assisting us to raise revenue by 50%, almost 50%, that's 1.2 billion. Since the introduction of publican, about 75% of declarations that are made are compliant. However, we are seeing the remaining 25 where publican is telling us that as custom officers, we should look deeper. But more importantly for importers and agents, we already before publican had what we call an appeal team in place. So where there's a disagreement with one officer, the importer or agent will escalate it to this appeal team. We want to assure that that appeal team is still in place. It is working as it has been before and after publican. So we encourage importers to use that system. To assure importers that the introduction of the system will not go against their interests, we've added a second layer, which also stand by and meets at least twice a week. So if an importer or agent is still not satisfied with the initial appeal process, they can still make the appeal to this team. And we are saying that this appeal is not manual. You put your appeal in the ICOMs, we'll pick it up in the ICOMs, we analyze it. If you have to meet the importer, we meet them, we put the results and the conclusions in ICOMs. Going forward, we've introduced the 24-hour shift system at the customs valuation department. That way, as goods come in from end to end, we are running 24-hour system to support that. Secondly, also to encourage our agents and freight forwarders that the results of publican are available to them as much as available to custom officers. They must also continue to learn and know how publican works so that they can improve the efficiency of their work and be able to improve the collaborative work that we have with Customs Division of GRA. Revenue is the lifeblood for the development of the nation. Let us do our best to ensure that we play our part, we declare correctly to the state, and the state correctly also assesses and takes the revenue. Know your taxes, pay your taxes, and together, let's build the Ghana we want. Thank you.
Into why part of what problem with this system?